What's up, family? Welcome back to another legendary Top of the Moot reaction video, man. We're not going to do no more talking because we got Larry Legend in the building, and I think that speaks for itself, so let's continue.
On. Welcome to View the Right Thing, and Winning Time is a dope show, but it ain't a documentary. And because of that, a lot of people are wondering how much of the versions of the players they see is real life and how much is just made for TV. I did the first one on Jerry West. And
that makes sense. That makes sense because a lot of times they like to keep it interesting and capturing the viewer eye because of the drama that's occurring in the film, because they have to do some type of twisting and, like, making a couple tweaks and kinks to keep the viewership high. You know what I'm saying? Retention rate.
Seen it? Hit that box right there, and we'll be right here when you get back. So today we're going to talk about Larry Bird, a.k.a. the Hick from French Lick, a.k.a. Larry Legend. And it don't get more iconic than him. And, yo, I mean that literally, because the Twitter icon is actually named after the guy. So Winning Time portrays Larry Bird as a driven, tough-as-nails country boy who cursed and scrapped his way all the way to the top. He's a trash talker that exudes the kind of energy reserved for anime final bosses. He's the chewing tobacco and beer to Magic Johnson's steak and champagne, and he's just as liable to throw the ball at you as he is to throw it into the hoop. Basically, they're saying that Larry Bird was a bad man, but just...
Well, it's not that they were saying. He had some humor. I respect a man that have humor and actually operate as a human being than operating like he's superior than somebody or better than somebody. You know what I'm saying? Character is what keeps you. At the end of the day, you can act all you want and fake the funk and be something you're not, but at the end of the day, your character will expose you, and that's what keeps you in the long haul to see if you're even sustainable in the league. And let alone Larry Bird being legendary as he is, a very humble guy. Also know when he did talk trash, and he talked with a strategic way and a strategic approach, because when he spoke, everybody listens, because he barely speaks in regards of when it comes to playing the game. But when he does speak, it's a strategic approach. Everything that Larry Bird does was intentional. And I feel like that's where a lot of people don't elaborate on or put in context. And what I mean by every single thing that he did, it came with a purpose aligned with his game, also being a selfless player, let alone also carrying his team when needed to step up to the plate and be very effective in every way that he needed to be as possible, despite his injuries. That's what I'm talking about. But I do like this breakdown of a video. Every reaction I do is my first raw reaction. But I do like that they're going to break down the facts, and we can actually absorb that factual information, weeding through the dramatic phases that may have taken place in the show or in this episodes, because they wanted to keep the curiosity and, keep individuals glued to watching it. So
bad is bad, and he's supposed to be good, but how good is good? So today we're going to break down his highlights, fist fights, and assorted Larry Legends to answer both of those questions. And after that, I'm going to give you my take on his game. Okay, so what about Larry the Bad Man? On the show, he's a jerk to Magic and snotty to the press. The league rolls out the red carpet, and he couldn't care less. And to be honest, most of that is generally true. See, Bird was raised in an Indiana town so small, there's not even 2,000 people living in it to this day. Kids where he's from either worked in the mines or the farms, but Larry had...
Interesting. It's always more inspirational when you see someone that comes from a small town, and you hear the factual information about their time. I'm like, bro, they really made it out of this small town. No matter how small or big the town is, about who the person is and the work ethic and what they're really intentionally trying to go after. You know what I'm saying? You can succeed, but you have to be very disciplined and know where you're going and know where you're headed. And learn along the way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like Larry Bird sought his circumstance, got fed up with it, wanted to create a change, and that's what driven him to be very motivated. His father was a drunk. He was in the service. He had some traumatic experiences. His mother was doing the best that she could. His father was doing the best that he could. He had siblings, But it also gives you that humbling insight of how humble he is. A lot of times they try to incorporate a lot of controversial stigma to the game of basketball when it came in regards of Magic versus Larry Bird. But Larry Bird didn't care about none of that. It was Larry Bird versus Larry Bird. And like he said, come from Indiana, a small town. No one why worrying about who you know what I'm saying? They just doing their thing. I mean, they in the mines, they doing what they gotta do.
Out, and that was basketball. See, Bird was religious in his devotion to the game. It was the media he couldn't care less about. Because of his upbringing, Bird just didn't value the media's opinion, and he wasn't afraid to show it. Basically, Larry Bird carried it like an OG Marshawn Lynch or maybe a Jimmy Butler.
Not
He was a
opinionated.
weird dude. I mean, his two favorite food groups were wedding cake and Budweiser. But he's the no-frill answer to the decadent glitz and glamour of the NBA of the 80s. But if you think that no frills means nice, you're dead wrong, because Bird in winning time is nowhere near as nasty as Bird was in real life. Okay, how can I say this nicely? Larry Bird talked a lot of shit. He talked so...
Comment down below, family, though. Comment down below. Do you think the fights was just them being in the heat of the moment, and it just happened to happen? And, if you're down or their game is intense, you know what I'm saying? And everything you're taking personal, from a personal standpoint, because you really value the game and take that game serious and you really want to win, and it's just part of the competitiveness? Or do you guys believe that the fighting was because he was provoked? I'm curious.
trash, he'd make you want to kill him. And a lot of players actually tried. Larry Bird is on the Mount Rushmore of trash talkers in NBA history, if not the greatest shit talker of all time. Not only would Larry Bird hit you with that trash talk nonstop, but he'd be hitting you with the worst kind. The kind that takes away your soul because he's spitting straight facts, and we all know it's the truth that hurts the most.
Well, that means that Larry Bird studied you. That's what I mean by strategic. He's not just getting it out of thin air. Obviously, his trash talk aligned with something he knew about you. When it came to a game, you being part of the game of basketball and you playing, and your talent and your skill set along with the game of basketball, he evaluated. And also him having a high IQ, he had more chances of really breaking your skill down and breaking down your weaknesses and strengths, right? Because that's what it's about. The game of basketball is you working at your strengths while working along your teammates to build up your weaknesses, with ultimate the goal to win a championship, win games, and be very successful and be very effective together as a team sport, with the ultimate goal to succeed, right? I mean, what else can it be? Comment down below, guys, what you think the game of basketball is. What do you define it as? That's my definition, my personal opinion. And if I'm wrong, I'm always open to the possibility of being wrong. We're here to have a conversation. This is what it's about, man. We're a community, and that's what it is.
Time when Larry Bird made 4 straight baskets in Dennis Rodman's face, he proceeds to run over to his coach, Chuck Daly, and say, "Yo, who's guarding me, Chuck? You better get somebody on me or I'm going to go for 60. Or how about that time that Horace Grant was guarding him and Larry tells
I think
Grant,
that's just challenging. Another player challenging another player. Yo, coach, get somebody on me that's going to go as hard. Challenge me. We could challenge each other. Push each other to be greater. You know what I'm saying?
exactly what he's going to do to him next. He says he's going to fake left, and then he's going to shoot a right-hand hook over him. And then he gets the bucket exactly like he said he would. That's savage enough to do to one dude, but what about a whole squad? Yeah, Larry Legend did that too. This one time during a timeout versus Dallas, Bird told the entire Mavericks bench the Celtics' next play. He's like, look, Ainge is going to get it to DJ. DJ's going to get it to me. I'm going to shoot the shot. You got that? I'm going to stand right here. I'm not going to move. They're going to pass me the ball, and the next sound that you hear is going to be the ball hitting the bottom of the net. And yo, that's exactly what happened.
I think he did that
and
to
if
create
that sounds
fun.
too crazy to be true, you just described Bird's whole career. Oh, and don't have the audacity to put a white dude on him. Bird took that kind of thing personal. He'd get irritated and start
I did
scoring.
hear a lot of professional NBA players say that. Charles Barkley, Magic Johnson. So that is, I think, factual. Well, it is factual because a lot of NBA players said it. And they said their experience, even with, what's his name? He played for the Atlanta Hawks. Dominique Wilkins, I believe. Yeah. He even mentioned it. You know what I'm saying? So
over the guy. all while saying, hey, do you and your coach have a problem? Why is he doing this to you? Does he hate you? See, that's the level of trash talker that we're dealing with here. And if you talk a lot of trash, you'd better be able to back it up, which brings us to the next question. Was Larry Bird a scrapper? And this is 100% legit. I'm going to put it this way. Larry Bird had hands.
I felt like, though, the game back then was very tougher. Like, it was less fouls. It was like, I mean, look at the bad boy Pistons back then, man. Back then, I don't feel like it was much fouls given or much rules or much. There wasn't as much rules as it is now in the game of basketball. You know, to keep things at a medium. You know, individuals conduct themselves in the right manner because this still is their job. You know what I'm saying? They have to keep it. They have to uphold the level of professionalism by also being very effective, displaying their skill, along with it just being the competitiveness that comes with the sport, right? But I feel like back then, look, man, competitiveness was competitiveness for what it was. You got the raw original form, originality. People got heat in the moment. They took the game very, very serious. But it was like men just, it was like football, basketball. Like, I don't know how to put it. Like, of course, it was some fouls. Of course, they broke them up. You know, they diffused the situation. But I feel like the competitiveness, even if it got a little bit rough, like as if it was football or being a part of the National Football League, was more displayed or showcased. Do you guys believe that actually spiked up viewership and spiked up individuals to be more intent, to be wondering and honestly what's going to happen the next game, family? Do you think that competitiveness that was even very, very aggressive back then made individuals keep craving to see the next game? Whatever basketball game that came on, because they never knew what happened. Comment down below. Do you feel like there was excitement back then as it is better than it was back then when Larry Bird played versus them, you know, the excitement of individuals that want to watch the game now? I'm curious.
And when you check the tape, those hands were equal opportunity. In winning time, there's actually a scene where Bird throws the ball at a dude. Well, Bird really did that, except it was against the Pistons, and it was at Bill Laimbeer after Bill Laimbeer decided to body slam Larry Bird all over the floor. Bird's response? Hands. Dennis Rodman jumps in, more hands.
They say Laimbeer was a very unprofessional, you know, unethical player when it came to trying to really inflict harm on other players just to do it. I'm not sure if it's true. I wasn't there, but that's what a lot of NBA players that played during the time with Larry Bird said. You got Charles Barkley, you got Larry Bird, who would say it himself, you know, so.
Bird is torturing Dr. J so bad, and he's tormenting him at the same time. Bird talks so much trash that Dr. J takes a cheap shot. And when he does, Larry Bird's answer, you guessed it, hands. Bird belonged to a generation of ballers that fought for everything on the court, and Larry was no exception. Bird talked so much trash that he made you want to fight him, but them Indiana hands meant that you might not win when you got there. Which brings us to the next question.
Do you guys really believe that Bird talked trash to make you want to fight him? Or he just talked trash for the love of the sport, to keep the excitement, to keep you on your toes, to keep you being better and making you better as you made him better, to make you challenge him? You know what I'm saying? I don't think he talked trash to actually, like, provoke fights or start fights. What you guys think? Comment down below. If anything, I feel like the fights was based on just frustration. Like, they didn't know what to do with Larry Bird. Like, I don't know what to do with this guy. He keep talking trash. I'm sick of it. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't control they didn't have that self-control to control their emotions. So I think their emotions got the best of them. And then Larry Bird, you know, unfortunately, you know, I'm condoning violence and nothing like that. I just feel like you should just have good sportsmanship and compete to your best of your ability always. But I just feel like they got jealous and they done little things to provoke him, or they done things to they started the fights and initiated the fights out of frustration because they couldn't stop Larry Bird. And that's what I feel. I feel like Larry Bird was just challenging them. The same way if they was up winning and they was talking like, oh man, you got better than that. Man, you got to give me some more energy than that. It's like a coach, you know what I'm saying? They talk a little trash to bring out the best in you. You know, realizing it's you versus you and helping you realize some weaknesses that you may not have gone across in your skill set. Or you may have not realized that you have some weaknesses that you need to work on. I don't know. I just felt like, I don't feel like he purposely started fights just to start fights. You know, I feel like Larry Bird's a good dude, very passionate about the game, and wanted others to be better as well. I don't know. How you guys feel? Comment down below, man. You know, I'm just a student of the game. I'm just learning and taking what the legends say because either way you put it, Magic, Larry Bird, Kareem, Abdul-Jabbar, Dr. J, man, they all pioneers, man. Michael Jordan, they made the possibilities for overseas players and many other players to have the opportunities that they have now today. So they are the pioneers.
How good was Larry Bird? Well, Magic Johnson said he was the one player that he feared. And Pat Riley said that if he had to choose a player to take a shot to save a game, he'd choose Michael Jordan. But if he had to choose a player to take a shot to save his life, he'd take Larry Bird. I mean, I could rattle off his accolades, but that'd just take too long. So I'm just going to put this up here and cherry pick two of my favorites. Number one, he three-peated the league MVP. Think about that. And number two, Larry Bird is the only dude to win Rookie of the Year, League MVP, Finals MVP, All-Star MVP, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year.
Man, it's just mind-boggling to me. Like, if Larry Bird played longer, I feel like his accolades would have been, like, longer, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. That's an amazing list of accolades to have in a short amount of time. You know, through his injuries and all that. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like he would have just, like, knocked off every list. I don't know, man.
Even all of that doesn't explain just how good Larry Bird was, because Larry Bird was so good, he defies explanation. That's why they call him legend. I mean, how do you explain things like that one time against Portland where Bird decides to play the whole game with only his left hand? Not because he's injured, just because he wanted to challenge
himself.
And my guy ends up with 47 points and hits
See, if he's challenging himself, you cannot exclude him from not being willing to challenge other individuals. And I feel like that's why he talked a little bit, to sort of ignite that positive perspective, to ignite that fire in a positive way to make that person better, even if they was on his team or not.
Game winner. Or how do you make sense of the fact that he three-peated the three-point contest from 86 to 88? And in 86, he told everybody else they was competing for second and didn't even bother to take off his warm-ups when he was whooping them. Oh, and in the last round in the 88 contest, he stuck the number 1 sign up and walked off the court while the go-ahead ball was in the air. And he won it. He was just that damn good. The best thing about this project for me has been the fact that even though I've always respected his game, I've come away with a whole new appreciation for it. There's a reason that Larry Bird is one of the few players to compare favorably to Michael Jordan in terms of stats and analytics. And if you watch the tape, you'll see that Bird's bag and his skill set package was ahead of its time. I'm seeing the Hezzy J and Step Back J that cats swear they discovered in 2000. His highlights are ridiculous, and that's why I've just been letting them rock throughout the entirety of this video. Overall, I think the show has gotten more right about Bird than they've gotten wrong. He was unapologetic as he was unassuming, and on the court, he was a talented, trash-talking tyrant. He played basketball like that Johnny kid played fiddle and the devil went down to Georgia, and he was quick to tell you that he was the best there's ever been. So yeah, maybe that makes Larry Bird a trash talker. But is it really talking trash if you're telling the truth? If you like
Exactly. And if you're really talking trash because you're confident within yourself, because no one's going to be as confident. No one's going to believe in you like you believe in you. You know what I'm saying?
Content, hit that like and subscribe, then ring the bell.
So I don't know, family. Comment down below. I'm curious to see you guys' opinion and how you guys look at it. Give this video a big thumbs up, man. It helps crush that YouTube algorithm. It's totally free. Continue to spread that peace, love, and positivity always. And on that note, family, peace.